Welcome to my first episode of API, American Political Ideologies, where I attempt to untangle the absolute garbage joke that is the way we Americans like to identify people who disagree with us. In order to grasp exactly what omnishambles have occurred in this topic, I first must make an important distinction. Ideologies are not necessarily related to a certain party. For example, you can be a conservative Democrat or liberal Republican. Another key detail is that these ideologies are simply ideologies, however rooted their examples may be throughout history, and therefore truly opinionated in what they can mean and stand for. Another important detail that I am going to be talking about is what each of these terms actually means and how this affects the opinions and decisions or votes that people in that group make. This is vital as it can lead to certain perceptions and false deductions made about these groups. In this specific episode, I'm going to be discussing the two most common ideologies in America, conservatism and liberalism. Let the pain begin. Conservatives, often exaggerated as the gun-toting, church-praying Southern Ben Shapiro fanboys, are a prime example of how different American ideologies can be from domestic ones. And I should note that I'm addressing American conservatism, not domestic or world conservatism, as there is a vital difference. I'm also talking about conservatism as a whole in America, and not specifically neoconservatism, pro-government conservatism, entrepreneurship conservatism, or social conservatism. Conservatism is based around limiting and decreasing the size or involvement of the government, mainly on the economy. Conservatism supports military spending, but prefers if the government had limited or less involvement in healthcare, business regulation, and other social programs such as welfare. They believe in the free market and that its competition will lead to a better result for Americans, whether that's the form of cheaper goods or goods with better quality. This also leads to another big belief of conservatism: less taxes. Because the government will be spending less on social programs, they will need less money, so the citizens can keep more money. Because conservatives want less social programs and taxes, they are usually more hesitant to new policies and ideals, and prefer more traditional methods, hence the name conservative. These are the basic universal beliefs of conservatism and lead to the following social effects and similarities between fellow conservatives. But note, this isn't necessarily their universal key tenets. Conservatives prefer more traditional ideas and laws, and this can be reflected in their social beliefs as well. They support patriot actions and like traditional views or activities such as going to church. And because the majority of conservatives go to church, the majority also seem to have political views based off religion, such as Christianity, such as being pro-life or anti-drug. This is where they greatly differ from the libertarians, but that's for another video. Conservatives are usually part of the Republican Party as it reflects their religious and traditional views. However, as I stated, all of these are common similarities, but may not be applied to all conservatives. And their basic tenets are essentially less government involvement in the economy and less taxes. Liberals, stereotyped as blue-haired feminazi Karen-like gender study libtards, are not as extreme as they may be portrayed. Liberals want less government spending in war and more towards things such as social programs and environmental protection. Liberals believe that if the free market is left with too much power, they will most likely abuse it and take advantage of people such as historically marginalized groups, such as minorities. Because of their increased amount of social and environmental programs, liberals usually want higher taxes, specifically aimed at the rich. Because they support new social programs to help with minorities or general equality, they are usually more willing to try new policies or laws. This can lead to many liberals being open to more socially progressive issues than conservatives, such as gay rights, gender studies and the belief of a range of genders, and socialistic aspects incorporated into our government. As you can see, both sides have relatively basic views of how they want the government to spend its money and collect taxes, and how this affects the beliefs commonly associated with them. The main thing I hope you get out of this video is that not all conservatives or liberals may have these beliefs, or be part of the commonly associated political party, and what being a conservative or liberal actually means. I'll see you in the next video where I rant about the ways we view political ideologies, such as the political compass.